Well, my summer break is almost over. So let's talk about it, shall we? Hello and welcome to another wonderful Monday Cory's Corner. Joining us today is Ryan Roger Athay, back once again. Hail, sir.
Oh, it's great to be here, Cory. Good to have you back. And I just noticed how small your forehead was. Yeah, unlike mine, which is about two of Cory's foreheads.
That's fair. And then, of course, joining us as well is Matt, otherwise known as Small Time Republic. How you doing today, sir?
Doing good. My forehead has just steadily grown over the past maybe 15, 20 years. Just
It's Jim Cornette.
Exactly.
That's fair. Real quick, we'll get into the chat. Hail to Vince Womack. Greetings and salutations. Hail to the Gaming Jew. And of course, Ryan Roger Athay. And then we have John Edgar. He says, howdy, ladies and gents. Sorry, just want to apologize. I just got moved to a new department at my work from home job and don't have Mondays off anymore. We'll try to check in when I can, though. Miss y'all. Well, that's totally understandable. Life happens, bro. So we do thank you for popping in and letting us know, and we hope you catch some replays here and there. But until we see you next time, make sure you take care of yourself, bro.
If you're an American, don't work too hard, like most Americans.
Yeah, what he said, I guess. Hail to Tollbat. Hi, guys. Hello. Wonderful to see a nice lizard representation up in this joint. It's great. Hail to Diablo Dame. Good afternoon. Yes, indeed. Ha! The Gaming Jew says, Cory has a 4-head, Ryan has a 5-head.
And I got the nose and the hair for it, my good man.
Indeed. Tollbat, I won't comment much. The AI bots follow me and ban every comment I make on every platform. Well, since we're just barely under the 5-minute mark, fuck those bots, bro. Gosh, seriously. Like, assholes.
Sometimes you have to be creative.
Right? Small Time Republic. Did the bots pick up on Leet Speak? Can we just like time travel back to the 90s and use Leet Speak to confuse them? Who knows? Hail to Mass Grave. Good day to you, sir. All right. Well, I'll just start this off by talking about my summer break and how it's almost over. We all have plans. Those plans often fall through, and we often feel like we haven't, actually achieved what we wanted to. And you know what? This was the least productive summer I have had since starting my YouTube channel. I have done less live streams, less content releases. I have been on less guest appearances, all kinds of crap, because guess what? Life fucking happens. And, well, here we are. I had originally planned on doing a game show over the summer. That didn't happen. The day that I started getting submissions, like, on a regular basis for questions and stuff, my mom died. And then I was like, well, fuck, that broke me a little bit, right? So I was also going to do extra live streams, but then my nights got busy because my son, having to be all like socially adjusted, had to go out and, do friend groups and youth groups and Bible studies and lunches and blah, blah, blah. Stinking teenagers, bro.
All that social interaction. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. And then as I started getting into my projects more and more, other things started cropping up. Had to take care of getting my son into high school, which he started a week earlier than or a week and a half earlier than every other school in the district. And that was a fucking nightmare. It's continuing to roll onwards, by the way, because somehow we missed getting his immunizations updated. So now we have to go do that as well. They automatically enrolled him in the public high school, which I vowed to myself he would never ever see, because I went there and fuck that place. All right. That place is garbage. You want to talk about like, you want to breed the terrible people that we see on TikTok? That high school is where it is. Anyway, so I have to actually officially unenroll him from this public school before a truant officer comes to my house going, "Where is he?" And it's like, he's in his high school, dipshit. Why is it so difficult to just send your child to school?
Well, usually where I come from, it's a simple matter of, because we have a different educational system in the UK. We have nursery, then we have primary school for the little kids, infants and juniors. Then we have secondary school for teenagers, and then I like to call it tertiary school, but most of my fellow Brits call it college. That's the 16 to 18 level, and then 18 plus, you go straight to university. And I've found, from my own experience, you have your own nursery that has relations to a primary school, and that primary school has relations to a secondary school, and that secondary school has relations to the college, and so on with university. And that's how the connections are made, with few exceptions, because they like those relationships. It means that they don't run out of pupils,
Right.
in all honesty. But that's how it's structured where I come from. I'm not sure about the American process, but that's what I can tell you.
Typically here in the United States, we have preschool through preschool through fifth being elementary. At least where I'm at in Colorado, they roll it all together because there's not a lot of like actual preschools separate. Not unless you want to pay like $2,000 a month to have your kid babysat by some bitch on her phone. But
it's all free in the UK.
Yeah,
right up to the university level.
Some churches have kindergarten only. Yeah.
Yeah, some do. But then once we get 6th, 7th, and 8th, it's middle school. Then 9th through 12th is high school. And then we have college and or university, interchangeable here in the States, not held to the same rigorous standards that other universities and college programs are, but it's still passable. Just saying. But it's a pain in the ass that school districts can automatically enroll your child into their high school or any other school just because you live close to it. All right. It used to be I had to walk into the building and go, I need an admission form. I had to go to a website and say, hi, I'd like to enroll my son. Now they're just like, guess what? Yeah. And I'm like, why am I getting phone calls every single day that my son is not at school for a school he doesn't even go to?
Well, for me, I picked my own college and my own university to go to, and lower than that, I didn't really have a choice in that department. I did grow up fast, people, but I didn't have an adult mind at 11 when I transferred from primary school to secondary school. I know, forehead, but I am truly 24 years old. So the educational system, it's still within my memory, because I left university first year because I was sick of being brainwashed at the beginning of my 19th birthday. So 5 years since I've been in the educational system. 5, not 10.
Good.
5.
You should just now start decompressing from all the crap they tried to hit you with. That's good. So Matt,
you were tired of being paying people to tell you you're guilty of things you weren't involved with? Is that?
Yeah, especially in law. So I got out with only a year's worth of tuition debt, not 3, and they haven't pestered me for paying it back. No wonder I'm reality-based, not financially based. I wonder why.
Sounds like the main difference is, like, Ryan, the kids in America that are like from age like 6 to 14, we typically have them, unless it's a small town, we typically have them divided up into 2 different schools.
Oh.
As opposed
for us,
for
us, it's the nursery kids, 2 to 4, then 4 to 11, then 11 to 16, then 16 to 18, then 18 plus.
All right.
So Cory, did your summer break you?
Bro, it almost did. I tell you what, it almost broke me because I was so focused on getting things to a higher level of craftsmanship that I haven't released anything, except for the couple songs that I've dropped recently, new one coming out on Friday. Keep an eye out for that one. But like, I understand now why it takes years to release a movie, why it takes years to make a television show. I'm making a television show out of my video game stuff that I'm cutting, kind of like pulling a little inspiration from Red versus Blue kind of stuff, but with Frank Lee. And I have 20 hours of footage to go through of the game. All right. I have an episode of One-Eyed Wong sitting on the back burner waiting to be done because of this same process. I have 5 songs I need to make music videos for. I have, all of this stuff because I am so focused on quality that the quantity has practically died. And it made me upset slightly over the summer. I'm not going to lie. I'm not releasing anything. I am fucking this up. What the hell? But these are normal thoughts that come along with streaming, especially when life kicks you in the nuts and goes run a mile. It's just not a fun process. Just saying. Real quick, we're going to get to some comments. The Gaming Jew says, bots suck. Thankfully, they don't bother me anymore, which explains why my watch hours have dropped significantly. That's fair. He also follows that up with, sign me up for a guest appearance one day, Cory. Would be an honor. We'll absolutely do that. I am planning on continuing my Saturday live streams starting this week. So if you have a Saturday or a Monday open around noon Mountain Time, I don't know what your time zone is exactly.
I think the Gaming Jew is based in the United Kingdom, if I'm not mistaken. I'm relying on my memory, folks, so it's not the best source. The Gaming Jew is also welcome on Reality Based. Jews have been on Reality Based before, and I will happily have Jews back on. I've got the nose and the hair for it, so might as well welcome them.
You are an honorary, yes, so to speak, yes. Yep.
That's why I haven't been banned yet.
Ha 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 ha. No, it's because you keep taking your glasses off and they go, oh, he Chinese overlord. Okay.
Yes, that too.
Massgrave says, rest in peace, Mom. Thank you, Massgrave. Vince Womack says, it's not a public school, it's a government school. You are correct, sir. It is a government school.
Yeah, it's odd for the UK. For the UK, we call what you call public school state school. And we call private school, for some reason, public school, because it's funded by the people by the parents who pay for it. So that's public in a sense. With state, it's funded by the state.
The Gaming Jew says, when I was a kid, I collected Pokemon cards and action figures. These TikTok kids collect STDs and unplanned pregnancies. Yeah, and they probably have punch cards for every abortion now, too.
Gotta make that money somehow.
Massgrave says, can I just say I learned everything about English comp before I got to university? That's great. That's fantastic. Then we have Tolbat. He says, we homeschool our children to get away from the mess of public schools. The last 3 years my son was homeschooled. He had a private tutor for math because both my wife and I are not skilled in mathematics at all. Just saying, we suck. And then, of course, Tolbat follows up again with, it used to be K through 6 elementary, 7, 8, and 9 junior high, and 10, 11, and 12 was high, then college and university. Yeah, they changed it a lot. That actually confused my wife for a little while as well, because she's all like, what do you mean he's going into high school in 9th grade? But hail to Lester San Jose, the Skeptic Tank. Previous guest on last week's Cory's Corner. Make sure you go check out that replay if you haven't watched it already. It is a good episode because this man is a peach to talk to. Love to have you on again sometime. Links in the Gilded if you want to join.
We've got to get Lester and Ruben Christopher Haynes together. We've got to, because they look so much alike.
Well, I mean, you could.
This is true.
But I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I feel like Christopher Ruben's sexual energy would just overwhelm the stream and no one would pay attention. I just think that's what it would be, man.
The machismo runneth over. Yes.
Indeed. What do the kids call it this day? Drip? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that is. Kids these days have some weird ass fucking words. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Like,
yeah,
half the time I feel like an old guy because I'm like, I don't even know what he just said. What does that mean? Like my son was talking yesterday in new speak, and I'm all like, bro, can you at least kick it back like 5 years so I know what you're talking about?
Right. I'm just now catching up to when people call something fire that's good. Like I'm just now getting to that point. Yeah.
It took me a minute to catch on to that too.
I'm like, where? Yeah.
The Gaming Jew says drip. That's basically drool that comes from these vegetable kids these days. Yeah, especially when they have that fentanyl lean.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I mean, that's the coolest dance move I've ever seen in a club. Fucking retards.
Like this. They just relax like this on say a seat or something. You know, sometimes I do that, but I've never taken fentanyl.
It's because, in my personal opinion, they've probably destroyed their back muscles from sitting too much, and now that's just kind of what happens. They're like, "Oh, definitely, my back won't hold me up. Somebody catch me."
I have to lean forward, folks, because if I lean back, this will happen.
And then he takes a nap. And he's going to pull a drunk 3PO and just fall asleep on the stream. Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of shit happened that just kind of messed up my summer plans. And that's pretty typical for me. So I'm not, like, super mad about it.
Hopefully you don't fall in fall, Cory.
I hope not. I certainly hope not. So do you guys want to cover an interesting news article?
Oh, sure.
This is entertainment-related culture shit. So, Mass Grave, I get it if you want to bounce, but I have to laugh at these motherfuckers for just a sec, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we won't even spend a lot of time on this, but I want to touch on this real quick. Like, all right, League of Their Own is canceled.
Good.
And they say Amazon blamed it on the strikes because of delays in shooting and delays in writing and et cetera. And it's like, no fucking shit. All right, let's just think about this for a second. All right, all your people stop working. Your project's not going to get made. It's going to get canceled. Yeah, it had one season, but if season 2 never got finished and it's supposed to be out soon, what do you think's going to happen? They're not going to release the episodes that they have finished. They don't release partial series anymore unless it gets canceled mid-season while it's airing. But this is Amazon we're talking about. You're not getting your show back, and the fact that y'all motherfuckers got canceled makes me laugh my ass off. But they're like, do you guys think Amazon is cowardly because they came out and blamed the cancellation on the strike?
No, it's a convenient excuse to do away with a project that would have had them financially bleeding out. That's why this writer's strike and actors strike, it's a great excuse for entertainment companies to just cut their losses, cut costs, because these projects just constantly bleed out, not making anything for a good period of time. Although they will lose money during that time, they won't lose nearly as much as if they continue with these projects that for the most part don't earn their money back. They may have a profitable movie or two, but that's why, especially with Disney, they're trying to get their profits through cutting costs. And I look forward to the first AI-made Disney show with a very low budget that will make a profit, not because it's of good quality, but because they have
nothing.
Exactly. They're doing what creators try to do, but we do it organically. We don't use machines, and when people find out we do, in some cases, we get mass dislikes. But that's what the entertainment corporations, Disney is one great example, are trying to do to reduce their decline so to speak.
Indeed.
Well,
the Gaming Jew says, "Is it me or are these Hollywood dickbags turning into the French and striking every couple of weeks?" Yeah, they're definitely dickbags, and they're definitely striking a lot. I don't think it's effective, though. I don't know. I understand the reasons that they're giving for the strike, but fuck these people. They don't deserve more money because they're not producing anything worth watching.
Can you
Okay?
imagine
Who
if
needs a raise?
content
Tom Cruise
creators
needs a fucking raise. All of the
do
people
you
that work for Tom Cruise need a fucking raise. Fuck Disney. They don't need shit.
Well,
They
could
don't
you
deserve
imagine
it.
if content creators, Cory, had a trade union? I mean, it's just laughable.
Right?
Unions are a remnant of a bygone era, and I think Matt had something to say, so I'll let him say it.
Oh, well, what you mentioned about unions made me think of something. You know, yeah, the whole point of a union is to keep like an 8-year-old from getting their hand stuck in a machine at a factory. Like that's one of the reasons
That's a fair
unions came to
point.
be. And
Basic workers' rights, and I would argue that I know many fellow creators do see this as financially based. That's why they're financially based. So for some creators, especially prominent ones, this is a business. But to me, being a content creator is not a business. That's why I don't operate financially, and that's why I don't believe in the idea of unions within our space. And I think we're going to see the entertainment industry as it becomes more digital, as it becomes more technology focused. They're going to do away with these actors, do away with these writers, and become entirely digital. Then they won't have to deal with unions, as well as all the back costs to developing projects, all the behind the scenes stuff sort of thing. It could be entirely digital.
well, there's just so many
Indeed.
outlets for entertainment right now. It's if you look at the decline of cable, it has the percentage of Americans that have cable has gone down, down, down. Um, whereas streaming overall has increased as a platform. But I think you'll just continue to see a further spread out of where people go to find what they want to enjoy. And during the strike, that a lot of that will include people going back and looking at older films and older TV shows that they never got around to watching on their original run. I've been going back and watching. And I've been admittedly maybe selling the high seas a little bit, but I've been going back and watching some old like 70s action movies, 70s sci-fi
Hell
movies.
yeah.
And why do I watch them? Well, I may watch them because they have less of an agenda as what's being put out today, but also in a lot of cases, even in some of the B movies I've watched, like the Roger Corman type stuff, somehow the writing was better on those than a lot of what you see today.
I watch Steven Seagal movies myself, and they have done far, by 2023 standards, every film Steven Seagal has been in is fantastic. And it's great to see
Yes.
Lester.
Hail
And
to the
it's good to see he
skeptic
has
tank himself.
a lot of he has a lot of seats, but he's not sitting on one. That's very interesting.
If you sit for 4 hours or more a day, your spine starts to compress. So it's best to stand up at least the majority of your day. Anyway, how's it going, bro?
Oh, me? I'm
Yeah.
doing all right. I just this morning after Loki's stream, I decided to roll the dice on a version of Little Mermaid I stumbled upon via Prime. Because I had already watched the Shirley Temple 1961, her take on Little Mermaid. I kind of know the OG Little Mermaid, at least the Disney version, the animated in the 90s. Because when I was looking through Prime, I saw one that was made 2016. And I don't know if it was like a British, Australian production, because the protagonist has an accent, one of those types of accents. And I thought, thinking about it just this morning, I just go, just like the Max Mortal Kombat, that one that came out, I think it was either 21 or 22, hooked it in for like the first few minutes because it was looked like a period piece that could work. And then they fast forward it to whatever year. Why? They didn't have to do that. So, like that, I was going into this. I'm just trying to think of how are they going to do this. The first minute they hook you in, like it sounds like they're going to be loyal to the Christensen text.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You get the idea.
Bait and switch.
Bait and switch. Because why? They fast forwarded how to the present day, and you see a dude who's at some party and he's chugging on a cerveza. What's this? Is he gonna be the guy she's going after? But no. You think about we're so no woke.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, on the other hand, is like toxic masculinity to a T. Because what's worse is like they fast forward from the text. Like they start from the premise that she already went to the Sea Witch.
Mm-hmm.
And
so
she
skip
already,
like a thing.
She already lost her voice. Like they start from that point in the text.
It's ridiculous.
And it was weird. Like this is supposed to be an hour 20-minute movie. I could have sworn, like, if I were to be that dark, I would have said that movie could have been done in 5 minutes, 10 minutes top. Why? Because the man she's pursuing is a womanizer. Opening scene, he's talking with a gal he was shagging with, who says, "Oh, I can't. My husband's coming home." Like, wow. So I was like, and you wouldn't believe it. And it makes you wonder, okay, how did you get placed into that man's swimming pool? Like randomly out of nowhere. Because the guy who was chugging on that cerveza, he finds her in that swimming pool. She's already lost her fishtail, whatever it is. She already lost that mermaid feature.
It could be Hurricane Hillary picked her up out of the ocean.
She fell from the sky. I've seen crazier things.
Oh, sure. And you would think, okay, the dude chugging down the cerveza, he might be that guy. Because, he's like, we got to get you to the house. Got to get you some clothes. You have no clothes. I was like, he's a gentlemanly drunk. I don't know if he was drunk, but, the fact that they open with him, like, chugging and he's looking at the people.
A lovely lady who can't speak. That's a win-win, Lester.
Oh,
I'm sure everyone else can agree.
So I don't know what would trigger who, or who would be triggered by the following sequence, because it's not the guy chugging the cerveza she's after. She's after this guy for whatever reason, and it's like they don't form the foundation of why she likes this guy. It's like I'm thinking,
so this is a live action Little Mermaid from a few years ago. You're saying
2016, according to Prime.
Wow,
it's a lot better than the recent one, especially with that damn song. It sounded like African Americans had conquered the sea, which is a contradiction.
Wait. So that is almost prompting me to want to watch that as much as I'll dread it, because here's why I think the story could have been done in 10 minutes. Because the guy she's pursuing, because I've already set the table. He's a womanizer, right? He's like anything with the XY chromosome. He's like swing, 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 swing. And
they could have spiced it up by saying he was a trans womanizer, making it very difficult.
Well, kicker. Here's the kicker. The guy who's chugging on the cerveza, he introduces her to the guy she wants. All right. And then after the party, everyone's got to go. And he takes her to his room and they do the deed.
Wow.
And you could tell, like, the morning after, she's like, what just happened? Because, talk about, like, taking advantage of her muteness, right?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
How
in the
American
morning
of
she
him.
gets her voice back and she goes, "What in the scale is going on here?" I'm sorry,
Right.
that's what I got.
And that's like the first 15, 20 minutes of the film.
Did it make money, Lester? Do you know if that film made money?
It must have been a straight-to-video release of some sort because I never heard of it.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
And I was on Comics Division last night, and I was talking about, like, you know, on YouTube, and you've got all these movie suggestions. And you know, we talk about Snow White and the Huntsman, right? I didn't know that Julia Roberts was part of some Cinderella reboot or some sort of Cinderella spinoff called Mirror Mirror.
Oh, I heard about that.
And
Yeah.
it's like,
Never bothered watching it.
If people do people not take history seriously? And not I mean, you don't have to know.
Of course not. They're American. To them, the world started in 1775.
Yeah, and according to you guys, you're still the greatest nation in the world. So shut up.
I didn't mean to spark a civil war.
Oh, you're good. You're good. He's just feeling feisty, so he's just.
This is my actual name, Lester. This is my creator name, and I have to be worthy of my creator name, so I have to be controversial.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
So Vince Womack has a suggestion for a remake. He says maybe like a mix of mermaid and turtles. She starts out as a goldfish, gets flushed down the toilet, swims through the ooze, and turns into a fish woman thing.
Gal Gadot.
Right. Gal Gadot. I would watch her as Ariel. I know she's not white with red hair, but you know, chance to see her in some skimpy ass bikini thing. Psh,
she has a very scary face, especially when she smiles.
You should. I wonder how she actually looks when she's pissed off. Like, you know what I mean? Like some chicks get really kind of cute when they're angry. Some chicks just kind of like, you know, like, okay, she's mad. And other chicks, it's like, holy shit, she morphed into a demon. You know, it's like that scene from Army of Darkness where the lady comes up after she's been possessed and she's like, don't you love me anymore? And he's like, honey, you got ugly real fast. Hail to Terminus Est.
Hey, Gal Gadot was in the Israeli armed forces. So
yes, he was.
She could probably
not that she had much choice.
Put some judo moves on you or something.
Well, yeah.
I see what you did there, Matt.
Well,
that was unintentional.
I mean, you know what they should do? Like, if I would love it if someone would be able to put a parody together of the Marvels versus one Gina Carano, and Gina Carano is the winner because she just knows how to kick all of their asses. Because hey, she was an MMA fighter before all her.
Right.
You know, I remember when she was doing stuff for Strike Force before she went into UFC. Wait.
Hail to Real Wade Nation Gaming. Clips.
Hello.
Hail.
More the better, I say.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, there were a lot of movies that I had no idea that came out. Like there were several Sherlock Holmes movies that were like straight to video that I'm like, why did they make this? Like one of them was like Sherlock Holmes in like the 24th century or some weird shit like that. And I'm like,
you can get creative with a direct to video, direct to DVD. That's why I like Steven Seagal films so much, because they allow the same film to be made over and over again, but it's still entertaining. And I think Steven Seagal is the model for creators everywhere to create movie projects that go direct to video, go direct to DVD, and quantity is the way forward. Well, because there is a void that needs to be filled from the establishment.
I agree with the gaming Jew on this one. It's all about Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's done just as many 2 DVD releases as Seagal has, but the problem that Van Damme has these days is the fact that he doesn't actually want to work anymore.
No.
Like,
neither does Seagal.
What was Van Damme's last movie? It was him playing himself, but he's actually a spy of some kind. What? And then they bill him as a title character when he's in movies for like 5 minutes.
Right. Like if he's on like, the seventh edition of a particular franchise or something where he's maybe, at the beginning of the movie and then disappears. I mean, you can
Well,
go quite down.
the last Seagal film was in 2019. I think it was called General Commander, off the top of my head. But ever since, he has not made an action film. So maybe he's
been in
retired.
Russia for so long. Why would he even bother making an American movie anymore?
You can go down quite a rabbit hole if you start getting into like the derivatives off of existing IPs. For instance, with Amityville Horror, people think there's maybe 2 or 3 Amityville Horror movies. Like the original one, the Ryan Reynolds one, maybe a sequel or something. No, there's like 27 or 28 Amityville Horror movies.
It's a lot.
If they can produce something for $500,000 and make $2 million off of it, they're going to just keep doing it.
Yep, and they should. They absolutely should. Real quick, Vince Womack comes with Sherlock Holmes in the 24th Century was a cartoon and got a 2-episode pseudo pilot in Marshall Bravestar. Okay, well, obviously that was not the title of the live action movie that I saw, but thank you for clearing that up. And then the Gaming Jew says Van Damme is a legit fighter. Yes, indeed. Full contact
so
karate.
Seagal, he's an expert in bullshido.
Yeah, he supposedly does Aikido, but Van Damme does full contact karate. And during his professional fighting career, which didn't last very long, but it was still there, he got it was 18-0 or 18-1, all knockouts. So he's a legit kick-ass fighter, and I would love to see modern day Van Damme go up against modern day Seagal, and just even a light contact. Okay, guys, you can't punch each other in the face full strike, and Van Damme, watch those roundhouses, okay?
There's nothing light about Seagal.
No, and So Mass Grave says Steven does a martial art that is specifically designed for disarming a swordsman. Yes, and everybody knows how much Jean-Claude Van Damme loves to use a sword. So, I mean, he'd totally have a chance in that.
Well, I really do think, though, gentlemen, that because of the rise of the machines, whether it's robotics or what we like to call artificial intelligence, that it's going to take the financial aspect out of entertainment, in which the creative endeavors of so many talented people will go out the window simply because these massive corporate entities will pump out this derivative nonsense for absolutely free and just have ads on it. You could see AI generated shows under the Disney banner, folks, that have adverts
you will
and be free. You like a free service, and instead of Disney Plus, charging you every month. All the shows AI generated, they put on these adverts, and then they release it for free because these damn lunatics don't care about making a dime. Their actions in recent years are proof of that.
So you can watch an AI show while eating a synthetic hamburger, and with some crickets on the side.
Yeah, that'd be great. It sounds like a wonderful evening to me.
Lester is an AI machine, folks. Lester isn't real.
It's exposed.
So he's like the birds. He's not real. Okay. So Gaming Juice says, as long as Larry David keeps writing Curb Your Enthusiasm, let the robots take over. Larry's our most important Jew.
I thought that was Jon Stewart.
Ooh. Ouch. You're going to get lynched soon, man. Holy shit. Vince Womack says, has any one of Seagal's antagonists ever used a sword? I can't think of one. I remember seeing him face someone with a sword one time, but I don't even remember what the movie is. Because honestly, the only movies of his that I remember right off the top of my head is the Under Siege movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stunt doubles earn a killing in Seagal films.
They do.
Even ones for standing up.
It's really hard to find a modern stunt double for him, though, because all the stunt doubles that can do all of the karate and shit they want to do in the movie are skinny. And he's like, well, can you put him in a fat suit?
Yeah.
They sweat to death.
Yeah. I got to hand it because I don't follow a lot of actors' careers these days. But I've seen my share of Scott Adkison movies.
Oh.
But I have to hand it to him for wearing the fat suit in the John Wick 4. And I would say that's probably his best acting job.
Criminally underrated. It's always the criminally underrated ones that go under the radar.
Indeed.
Folks.
Is it a better fat suit performance though than Tom Cruise in Tropic Thunder? I mean, you know.
Wait, you're being serious, right? Like,
no, I haven't even seen the latest John Wick movie.
Yeah, I haven't either yet.
But
can't wait.
The battleship that was used in the original Under Siege movie, I live about 10 or 15 miles from it, and it's a 10 or 15 minute drive, I would say. Maybe it's fewer miles, but and I drive by there regularly. And sometimes when I drive by it, I think about Erica Laniak, who was in Under Siege, and
I think the second one was the first time I ever saw Katherine Heigl.
Oh,
I didn't realize she was in that. I know that they were on a train, I think, in the second one.
Yeah. And it's funny. I don't follow people's careers, like I said, but I think the second one I saw Heigl in, the second movie was the good old channel surfing days, and I had HBO. It was the Prince Valiant. She did. I forgot what her character's name was, but Prince.
She was also in Bride of Chucky, or one of the Chucky movies that came out late '90s.
Oh, really?
I was born in 1999. I don't understand anything you guys are saying.
We talk about Under Siege, and I just want a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just saying.
Like
I could totally avoid the Busey in spandex, though. The leggings or whatever he was wearing. That was a bit much.
I do like some of the staged sparring that Seagal's done, where he'll like have his paid minions to like charge him, and he disarms them at the different demonstrations. It's like, you can't disarm 7 people in 7 minutes, or 7 people in more like 2 or 3 minutes like that. It's just not going to happen. Yeah.
No, it's just funny. I took Aikido for a quarter in college, and like, I gotta wait in order for me to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to now.
Aikido.
Stick with the jitsus. That's all I have to say. Okay.
Yeah.
The jitsus are where it's at. Brazilian jiu-jitsu is fantastic. Aikijitsu, which is the unarmed martial arts that samurais used to use, is very grapple heavy, break your joints kind of focus. Yeah. It's great. And I think that's it for the jitsus. Honestly, those are the only 2 jitsus you need to worry about. Aikijitsu is the shit, but Brazilian jiu-jitsu is widely taught everywhere. If you can learn it, go learn it. Folding pretzels out of people.
Well, I would think you would have to have some. I don't really know Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I would think you would have to have some knowledge of it to be able to appreciate watching a match.
Yes.
Right.
Because there's so many subtle things that go on with that.
Well, it's just funny. I was on some other. I was listening on some other stream, and the guy was talking about boxing matches. Now I'm in the opposite direction. Like, I don't follow boxing because in retrospect, you just see how rigged the game really was, especially when it came to the likes of Floyd Mayweather and all the stuff surrounding his record, right? That's the thing that if there's one thing I miss from the old UFC, you didn't have any of these promotions. You didn't have any of these matchmaking scenarios. It was, here's a line of dudes. I think it went 8 deep, if I'm not mistaken, 8 or 16 fighters deep. Either way, it was a tournament.
Yeah.
You fought the guy and you won. Okay, you're on to the next round. And if you couldn't, sorry.
Yeah, try again next time.
That and somebody had they have stand-ins, alternates. Like if someone couldn't continue in the next round, they would bring on someone. Yep. And going back to the whole boxing bit, the guy I was listening in on, he was saying, well, I don't get the action or lack thereof in the UFC. It's like, yeah, because you haven't probably spent a round of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu because it's a chess match. When you're
I remember learning about congressional hearings in regards to the UFC, how it was too bloody for them, and they had to cut it down.
John McCain wanted to ban UFC.
Oh God! Don't get me. Well, it was even funnier if there is one. Well, I stopped my Disney Plus because you know how Disney Plus it was like, oh, if you want this, you get this and this, right?
Right.
So I got one of those legacy plans when it first started. So I got like the ESPN Plus, the Hulu.
Ooh.
And I mainly use it for ESPN Plus so I can watch the UFC fights.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they had UFC on cable. Like,
Yep.
it was on it was called, at least San Diego was, they called it KCOP, I think, and then it was UPN, and then I forget if there was another evolution of what they took on as a name.
The CW
but they had
now, I
like
think.
martial arts, and the kids were all talking about like these were middle school kids. Like, okay, like
Yeah.
Anyway, but the if ESPN on ESPN Plus, they had every UFC from the very beginning, and you could just look at the production evolution from the very first one up until today. Like, I mean, the venues they chose at the time. Like, I don't, no offense, Cory, but it's like you had. It was like, oh, so that's what they mean by trailer trash.
Yeah.
That's what those kinds of venues. Because if you look at the ring girls, nothing like the ring girls they got today.
Right.
One of the first UFC pay-per-views was in Dothan, Alabama.
Yeah,
that's ritzy,
Yeah.
bro. That's some
Right.
ritzy shit right there.
No wonder John McCain wanted it banned.
Well, you just see what they're trying to do as an organization, just as a promotional organization, because they would change out ring announcers, they would even change commentators. I still can't believe that Jim Brown was asked to be a commentator in the very Jim Brown, of all people, commenting on combat sports. Okay.
Hail to Lindsay the Cynical Geek and to that 70s rock fan. Top of the afternoon to you. Yeah.
There's
it is
a woman in chat, folks. Incredible.
Of course.
Unbelievable.
Wait, is that a
Diablo
first for that?
Dame's here too, you crazy fucker. I get women up in here. Just because Lasso's
Really?
busy don't mean I don't have women up in here. They just don't want to be on the panel. They're like, fuck that. Oh my gosh. But, that's okay. That's okay. I've had every single woman that I've invited on this channel has turned me down. And I don't know if it's because I'm like secretly giving off creeper vibes or whatever's going on. But I'm like, okay, I'll hang with the sausage party. That's fine. Y'all, much love to the lady viewers. But if I have to hang out with Dick to, then so be it. At least I'm not swinging it out like all these crazy fucking big timers are these days. What is wrong with you people? Yeah, see?
Women are welcome.
Boom. What an ego boost. You see what you did, Ryan? You see what you did. Man.
Women actually watch videos? My goodness, I thought you were all too busy raising families and cooking dinners and things.
Barefoot in the kitchen pregnant, bro.
I don't know if you're stuck in a bubble there, man, but at least here in America, there's a certain segment of the women population that is quite liberated.
Right. Right. We had
dangerous.
This women's lib movement that was super effective.
I mean,
and guess who voted for
doing
women to get
things.
the right to vote?
Yeah.
All
Yes,
men.
that was the first mistake.
I don't know
of
how that
many.
happened. Yeah.
Literally, the women of the age said, we don't really care about voting. And the men went, yes, you do, because it gives us bigger congressional power. Anyway, Vince says, simp, are you guys aware of what simp means?
not quite, but I
It's
get
sucker idolizing mediocre pussy. It's not a good term. Just saying. That's
Okay.
literally what it breaks down to.
Okay. All right.
So if you guys are a simp, then I apologize for your lack of masculinity. Just saying. Anyway.
I knew what it was.
Yeah, of course you did. It's because
You just told me, that's why.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah,
Sometimes it's used for comedic purposes, though.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, I guess, but I still think that's becoming way too, like, people are trying to, like, I'm going to empower that word. No, please don't. Like, stop.
But you know what's even more interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Like, my brother and I had this discussion about the WNBA.
Wait, people watch that?
Well, that's the problem. Not that people. No. The issue with the WNBA is somehow they don't know how to market their game, and I think it's part of the issue that they're trying to set it apart from the NBA. Because at least to the UFC's credit, men and women fights are on the same card, and some of the women, believe it or not, are part of the main event.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no real segregation of the sexes. It's what's a good card?
Yeah,
What's a good card? I mean,
they used to care about entertainment and stuff, but I'm still of the mindset, like, I'm not a big sports person, but I'm still of the mindset that the WNBA was literally created as a virtue signal. They don't care about female athletes. They don't care about making sure that the women who actually do a good job get noticed. They care about the fame, not pissing off all of the bra burning feminists from their era, and not being politically incorrect. And it's like, hey guys, if you actually cared about this, you would actually elevate these women to the point that we would know their names. We would have a female version of Michael Jordan at this point. We would have a female version of Larry Bird. You know, we would have the equivalency on that side if they actually put the effort into it. But they don't actually care. And most people think the WNBA is actually a fucking joke. And a lot of these women work really hard to get where they are, but they're never taken seriously. I'm just going to say this right now, never taken seriously. Even in a global arena of, like, say, Olympic level basketball, you are not considered a true athlete by a majority of people. And I feel sorry for them, despite their millions of dollars that they get fucking paid every year, just for the fact that they're recognized for the fact they show up.
Well, the problem is their scheduling. It's apart from the larger NBA. Yeah.
Yep. Nobody cares about women's sport, not even women. She can attest to that.
Well, and the WNBA, I guess maybe some of the thought process behind it is it loses about $10 million a year, and for the NBA, that $10 million loss is worth that virtue signaling shield that it provides, and it also allows them they leverage it into their TV contracts with ESPN and their partners, where they're like, hey, yeah, if you purchase the NBA package, you also have to show X amount of WNBA games, X amount of WNBA commercials, etc. Right. So it's I don't know if you'd call it a loss leader, but it basically they feel like they would get more than $10 million worth of headache by not having it.
Which is bullshit, because, okay, let's talk about sports in general for a second. It was created by men to have a specific outlet to dominate each other that didn't involve anally raping each other. Okay, let's just put it out there. They were like, okay, Greco-Roman wrestling's a bit much once it goes in. Okay, it's just too much for me. And so guys were like, we need to hit each other. Rugby, you know, occasionally there was some violence back in the old baseball days, which was, you know, acceptable in my book. I love a good
swatters.
You know, and then, like, there's American football, which actually statistically has more injuries than European rugby because of the pads. Just throwing that out there. And we have hockey, you know, violence. What are no offense to any females watching out there, but you're not good at violence. Okay. You're not. And what's entertaining about sports? Is it actually, like, how much, comparatively speaking, do more people watch golf or football? Probably football. Right? It's because they fucking hit each other. You don't even have to understand the game to enjoy them smacking the crap out of each other.
Golf is an international sport. American
I like
football
golf when
not.
There's bears on the field, and that's about it. Okay? Or down in Florida when there's alligators going, hey.
There was a time in the UK when, and I'm talking about British football here, when women's British football was banned on health grounds because it was seen that soccer for women was dangerous for their reproductive health. That is why I think it was in the 1920s, the Women's Football Association was banned for a good few decades until it came back, I think either in the 60s or 70s. And that's the proof that women's football uses for why they're so far behind. It's because the Football Association banned them from competing on health grounds. Looking at women today, I think they had a point because they don't look like women, so they're probably ill.
Well, diet has a lot to do with that as well. Diablo Dame says she went to the fights and a hockey game broke out. That does happen. Masgrave says mosh pits are fun.
I remember my first intro to hockey was through Blades of Steel. Okay. Nice. For whatever reason, that game, my friend had a copy. He played it almost every other day. And thing that we would do, because they allowed the depiction, every moment in the game. Fist fight. And the way they set that up, ready, go. And
yep. Dude, the old Wayne Gretzky games I actually loved just because of the fight feature in them. Yeah. You just run into somebody enough times and it's like, oh, and a fight broke out.
Yeah.
And then it's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but with hockey players.
Yeah.
And, it's really fun. Vince Womack says, fun fact, original boxing had less injuries than modern day boxing with gloves and stuff.
There's a guy I follow on YouTube. Ramsey Dewey is his name, I think. And he talked about, and this is something I had an argument with some dude on Facebook about. How could anybody support the UFC bloodbath?
You use Facebook? My God.
Very sparingly, and very specific.
Real quick, there. One thing I want to mention about original boxing before we got to your point, Lester, was a lot of times in original boxing they would fight until there was a knockout.
Yeah.
So you'd see this fight went 27 rounds. It's because. And
but
crazy.
I've seen this because I know people who competed in MMA personally through the gyms I would train at, right? And the refs are quicker to end the fight than boxing because boxing still has that Spartan mentality, whether they want to admit it or not.
As long as you're standing, you're fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically. Even when dudes, both eyes are swollen shut, and they'll still go.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's 3 minutes, 12 rounds or 10 rounds, depending on the level.
Yeah.
And you would get hit. You would get impact to the head within each 3 minutes, and you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
The UFC is like if you can't defend yourself or if you submit due to a joint lock, the fight's in. The fight ends.
Well, and if you look at how Ultimate Fighting MMA kind of started up with the Hoist Gracies and stuff, back then they allowed stuff like vertical elbows to the head. Hoist Gracie used to love to use that. He would fucking put people out with that. And you're not allowed to do that anymore. You're not allowed to use certain holds because of the hyperextension probability of them, so they've made it safer over the years, just like boxing and stuff. But there are certain things that pads, like boxing gloves, lull you into a false sense of security or safety over. And when you remove those, you're more mindful of what you're doing to your own body versus I'm going to hit this guy as hard as I can, and then it's going to be great. And it's like, yeah, but now he has a literal brain bleed, and you've just ended his entire career because you wanted to be a big bad man full of muscles and punch somebody in the face.
I would say even the doctors, when it comes to the eye stuff, a lot
Hail to Casey Charlie Chats.
Even for the eye stuff, especially the eye stuff. They end the fight. If they find the guy's eye is cut too deeply, it's over. Boxing, it's a different story.
And they just slap some stop bleed on there, and you get back in there.
Yeah, you were critically injured, but we put Vaseline on you, so you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Inhale this.
Water
What
fixes
was that?
everything.
I don't know. Go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually in the last 8 seconds of our live stream
really?
today. Yeah, so this was a fantastic time. I had a lot of friends show up. This was great. We're going to go around and see how everything's going. Sorry, my alarm's going off to feed the cats. Their fat asses can wait a minute. Anyway, so Ryan, Roger, Athe, what you got going on? Where can people find you?
Well, thank you all very much for watching. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to Talks a Lot Entertainment. I'm sure you'll enjoy what he has to offer. You can check me out at Ryan Roger Athe, and you can check out the first episode of the second series of Reality Based, which I like to call Reality Based Extreme at 11 p.m. UK time, which is 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Mountain, and 3 p.m. Pacific time, in which Moira Kitty will be our first guest, because that's the tradition, guys.
Nice.
The first and last guest of every reality-based series has to be a woman, a real woman, not a tranny demon. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and have a great day.
All right. Well said. So, Matt, what you got? What's up?
Well, Vince has got my my Twitter or X link in the chat. I don't really have anything on YouTube in terms of any kind of regular appearances. I do try to appear on Joe's Atmosphere every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Central on his State of the Atmosphere program. And Joe's a good guy. He streams, if not, well, maybe not every day, but most every day. So there's always something going on with his channel. But anyway, that's about it. And again, I try to be on Cory's channel on Mondays when possible.
Hell yeah. And you're always welcome. And of course, last but certainly not the least, the Skeptic Tank himself. How's it going, bro?
All right. Popular demand have put me on a trajectory where I'm putting out more Linux videos than I anticipated. Like, okay, that's what you're asking for. I'll see if I can provide it. And there's a guy I ran into on Loki's, and he's also on Culture Casinos streams, low spec Linux laptop. So he's pushed me my limits.
Hell yeah.
So I've done that, and just trying to see what I can get away with in terms of gaming. And I've got a handful of games that can keep me in my Linux environment, but I intend to put out some reviews like the Little Mermaid, because I'm trying to work through this idea of traditions and orthodoxies we're all exposed to in the game of life. And so I felt bad when someone was kind of, I don't know if ashamed is the word, but I said, you can't really call yourself a real Spider-Man fan if you don't absorb all the other things that come along with Spider-Man, where we're talking the TV shows, the comic books, and so in that spirit, I'm trying to gather, like I did with Little Mermaid, the Robin Hood, just trying to see what I can get my hands on with the source material and what has come out since. And this idea of wrestling with what makes that property or the original source and all the things that come with that. Does that retain the fruit of that original source? And who's really kept that continuity and actually did a good discontinuity versus a not so good discontinuity? And I know that's a long-winded venture, but I think it's going to be worth the time, because maybe I'll have to sit through the recent Little Mermaid just to see how far the other direction it goes.
Don't punish yourself, man. Don't.
Hey, I already punished myself with that first 20 minutes. I got to go all the way. I got to see where this goes. I can't appraise anything without a complete, or I'm trying to see if I can get people out of the Catholic is religious kind of mindset, because Catholic was a Greek term borrowed by the church. It just meant complete into the whole. So without a complete picture, can't properly assess whatever it is I'm consuming. Not that so people won't watch it, but just like consider the points, and then if they want to decide and watch it either way, okay, and see if their impressions are the same as mine, or if they come with a different one. That'd be cool.
Well, good
Yeah.
good
Oh,
luck.
yeah.
That's
Thank
all
you.
I'll
Yeah,
say.
I wish you the best of luck with that, and I look forward to watching it. If you're not already, make sure you're subscribed to Lester the Skeptic Tank over here on YouTube. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I guess it's my turn. Tonight, Monday Meltdown over on Comics Division's channel. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to do a video game stream during the day on Twitch. We'll see how that actually goes. I will have a new song releasing Friday. It's called Trigger Warning, and it is a rap song. If you know any of my previous works, Grant Gregory, you're going to really like this one. If you're an easily triggered, Weasley little fucktard that's soy soaked and worthless, you're not going to like this song. Okay. If you
You've
don't
been
have the
warned.
intestinal fortitude to put up with actual rude, in your face rap, then skip it. Anyway, that will be available on Bandcamp probably tomorrow or Wednesday, and then it will release on YouTube on Friday. That's midnight Eastern time. So that's 11 Central, 10 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you catch that. Give it a watch. Give it a listen. If you want to, you'll be able to buy a copy, and it'll all be great. In the meantime, however, feel free to go listen to Total Control. Feel free to go listen to Burnin'. Burnin' is an R&B dance club kind of song about sex. If you're not into that stuff, I totally get it. All of these things are available in the Bandcamp. Boom, right there. Of course, it's coryharrison.bandcamp.com. Go check that out. Got a lot of stuff available. Also, check the description for links to my merch store and stuff. I am still grinding away on videos, so I will make sure that stuff gets released here soon. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sexy, don't get murdered, and as always, have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.
Bye.